What's going on, everyone? Bobby Portis has been fantastic for the Milwaukee Bucks. He's really evolved into one of their premier guys, one of their blue chip guys, and has really kind of found his place with the Milwaukee Bucks. And they rewarded him with the 4-year deal, and he's still got a lot of promise, right? Just turned 28 years old. He's 6'10", 7'2" wingspan, can play both sides of the ball, and has been just really solid for them. His ability to play power forward, to play center in spots, he would be a nice addition to any team. But again, Bobby Portis is under contract with the Milwaukee Bucks until the 2025-2026 season, in which he has a player option that he can opt out with. But based on reports, it looks like Bobby Portis may want out of the Milwaukee Bucks sooner rather than later. He has a relationship with Darvin Ham, and reports are coming out that Bobby Portis actually wants to go to the Los Angeles Lakers and reunite with Darvin Ham, which would be very interesting and could play a role because of Budenholzer. Now, remember, Milwaukee, they ended up firing their head coach, and maybe Bobby Portis isn't happy about that. Maybe that's one of the reasons he wants to leave. Maybe he thinks that he'll get a bigger role. I mean, with the Milwaukee Bucks, he played 70 games, started 22 games. He was averaging 26 minutes per game. He shot 50% from the field, 37% from three on 4 attempts per game, and gave them 14 points, 9.5, almost 10 rebounds, 1.5 assists, half a steal, and half a block. So again, very productive. That would be a huge loss for the Milwaukee Bucks. But here's what has been reported. According to sources, Portis is interested in joining the Lakers to reunite with former head coach Darvin Ham. Assistant coach, I think they mean now that Darvin Ham's a head coach. That's my guess, or they just made a typo. But Ham left the Bucks following the 2021-2022 season to take the Lakers coaching job. He helped coach the Bucks during the NBA Finals run in 2020-2021 season with Portis on the roster. So again, Darvin Ham and his relationship, his connectability with players, he's kind of been known as that player coach, that development guy, and to have that tie into some of these players in the league, you'd imagine are going to translate sooner or later, right? And maybe even sooner rather than later. Guys like Bobby Portis and players that had this fondness for him on the Milwaukee Bucks, you could see him heading over and maybe saying like, hey, I don't like the situation we're in now. Maybe they start retooling, because there are a lot of questions about what are the Milwaukee Bucks going to do, right? They need to make a lot of changes. And I mean, even there's talks about, Brook Lopez, right? We talked about Brook Lopez earlier, and that is something else. Another guy that is connected to Darvin Ham, that has a relationship with Darvin Ham. The Lakers could very well start getting some of these guys that Ham has built relationships with over the years that could maybe want and force their way out to the Lakers. Now, the Lakers would actually have to trade for Bobby Portis. It's not as simple as let's just sign him. Because again, he wants, based on these reports, he wants to come now. He doesn't want to come in 2025, 2026, which, look, if you can get Bobby Portis in a Lakers jersey, I am all for that. Again, the guy's 6'10". He can play the center position. You can move Anthony Davis to the 4 if you wanted to. You could have him back up Anthony Davis, 7'2" wingspan. So he's a guy that can spread the floor, play the power forward. You could play him alongside other bigs. He gives you some versatility. I look, if you can go get Bobby Portis, you go get Bobby Portis. Depends on what the demand is. It depends on how much Milwaukee wants for him. Now, if Bobby Portis is forcing the issue and saying, I want to be traded and I only want to be traded to the Lakers, then maybe that kind of makes things easier for the Lakers. But also Milwaukee could just be, and especially if Milwaukee wants to retool, right? Or even just rebuild slightly. They very likely could just say, hey, give us somebody like a Malik Beasley, and we'll give you Portis and whatever, some scrap or whatever to make the salaries match. And then there you go. Or you could even do Mo Bamba, because Bobby Portis is making $13 million. So, you could do Mo Bamba, and if you have to, throw in Shaquille Harrison. And then there you go. There's the money for Bobby Portis. Now you do that kind of swap. And then if the Milwaukee Bucks want to keep Mo Bamba, then they can keep him. If not, they can just let him go. And now they cleared all that money off of their books. You have Chris Middleton, who's a free agent for them. So maybe it could give them a way to kind of get off some salaries, get off some contracts, and kind of retool the roster a little bit with some maybe free agents that are on the horizon. That could be something that they could look at. Again, if you can get Bobby Portis in a Laker jersey, I think you do it. You get a guy that could be a starter for you, or he could come off the bench, either or. He's an upgrade over Mo Bamba, in my opinion, right? Mo Bamba, I like Mo Bamba. I think Mo has a lot of upside and potential. He's very raw right now, right? He has a lot that he needs to work on. The Lakers really got to start developing him. Bobby Portis is already pretty much a developed product. You know what you're going to get from Bobby Portis, but on top of what you're going to get from Bobby Portis, he's still young enough to be a key part for the foreseeable future, and he's on a good contract. Again, he's making $13 million a year. So if you can keep Bobby Portis for till 2025, 2026 or beyond that, he'd still be only 31, 32 years old. So I think if you have a way to go and acquire Bobby Portis and he's kind of pushing the issue, I think you got to do it. Because again, this year, he's making less. He's making $11.7 million this year. And then he's making $12.5 million. And then the player option year is 13.5. So that's great. Again, you could just swap Mo Bamba. You could literally just take Mo Bamba and swap him evenly for Bobby Portis, and it's a win-win for everybody, right? Lakers might have to attach some assets. I don't think you're giving up a first-round pick or anything like that, but Lakers have like 4 seconds or something, 4 or 5 second-round picks that they could trade. So maybe you give Mo Bamba and like 2 second-round picks or something like that to go get Bobby Portis, or 3 second-round picks to go get Bobby Portis. If the Lakers can pull that off, in my opinion, that's great. Like, a lot of people want Naz Reid. I talked about Naz Reid in the rumors of the Lakers targeting Naz Reid. Bobby Portis is not that far off. I mean, they're basically similar players right now. Bobby Portis is probably the more consistent player right now. The only difference is Naz Reid's upside, right? Naz Reid is only 23 years old. He has a lot of upside. Where Bobby Portis, again, I think Bobby Portis still has a little bit of upside, but he's kind of, you know what you're going to expect. I don't see him taking these like incredible strides, but he's a guy in the right position, in the right spot. Could be probably a 15-10 guy, maybe even a 20-10 guy. Like, for real. I mean, he's already basically a 15-10 guy, 13-9.5. So is it unlikely that he could average an extra 2 to 5 points per game? I don't think so, especially next to like LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And if the Lakers can get Bobby Portis, you do that immediately. I really do. Like, if you could trade Mo Bamba and like 2 or 3 second-round picks and go get Bobby Portis, let's do that. Like, sign me up. Where do we sign up? Because again, he's a guy that has experience. He's a guy that's won an NBA championship. Now, he's probably not like the ideal target for, cause, you would still like a sizable center, but I think that he's great because he's not like, even like with Naz Reid, let's use him as an example. Naz Reid is still like 6'9", right? He's a small ball center. He's big, he's stocky, he's got good size behind him. But Bobby Portis is at least 6'10", right? So you get a little bit more height, and his wingspan with the 7'2" wingspan. I just think help on the defensive end. He can also rebound. He's a good, solid rebounder. That would help in the rebound department, which the Lakers lacked. Although Anthony Davis led the playoffs in rebounds, just something to point out. But still, we could use another rebounder. Bobby Portis helps in that department. Bobby Portis can play the 5 or the 4. You can slot him next to LeBron. You could slot him next to Rui. You could slot him next to Vanderbilt. You could slot him next to Anthony Davis. If you go get another center, right? Like, let's say you do go get a more physical body type center for the Jokic's of the world, something like that. Just throw it out there, but say Dwight Howard. I don't think the Lakers are ever going to bring Dwight Howard back, but just using him as an example because everyone is familiar with Dwight Howard. Like, say you went and got a Dwight Howard. You could play Bobby Portis next to Dwight Howard because his ability to stretch the floor. I just think he helps across the board. Bobby Portis would be just a great pickup. Again, he's really developed into that blue chip level role player, a guy that's not afraid of the moment, a guy that has showed up in big games, a guy that has, had big monster moments, guy that has won an NBA championship. So it's another guy that you can add to your roster that has experience and all of that stuff and has a relationship with Darvin Ham, right? And all the coaching that he saw as guidance that shaped him to be this guy. Because remember, when he was on like Chicago and stuff like that, he was not this guy, or the Knicks. He was not what we've seen from Milwaukee, right? Milwaukee, he's credited Milwaukee and Darvin Ham and, Mike Budenholzer as like the key factors as to why he became the guy that he is. So now they're all gone. He might be looking at it as like, I only re-signed for them. He also took a discount to stay in Milwaukee. He could have gotten more money elsewhere. He even took less money just so that they could get the bird rights to overpay him. So Bobby Portis sacrificed a lot for the Milwaukee Bucks. So he might be looking at it as like, you got rid of the people that like I stayed here for. I want to go to one of them, right? And now you got Darvin Ham in Los Angeles, and he's looking at it as like, ship me to Los Angeles. So I'm with it. The Lakers can figure out a way to get Bobby Portis. Let's do it. Go get Bobby Portis. Make it happen. But do you agree, disagree? How do you feel? Love to hear your thoughts and opinions. However, let me know.